Good evening to everyone. At this time, we call the meeting to order. It's 8 o'clock. We're going to do the roll call, and hopefully each one of you all have an agenda. We do have some extra agenda for you. Vincent?
Here.
Nick? Here. Ernesto? Here. Proof of notice. The agenda was posted on the 11th for today on the 3 boards. Resident coming to the board and the agenda item only. At this time, the board is open to listen to any comment or concern that any of the residents here may have at this time in reference to the agenda. Any concerns? None? Okay, we are going to E, approval of the previous minute meeting. All had a chance to review that?
Brief.
Okay.
So look in order. Yeah.
Move we accept the minutes as published. It's been properly moved by Nick to accept the minute. Do I have a second?
Aye.
It's been seconded by Vincent. All of those in favor say aye. So moved. Going to F. What are you going to leave it? Just kind of quiet there. Fred, leave it just kind of quiet like that. Yes, like that. That's good. Okay. At this time, I would like to introduce our new property manager, Caridad Guevara. I will be with us from now on. I want to welcome you. Would you like to say a word or no? Oh, good enough. That's that. That's that. That's fine. Okay. Moving on. Point F. I'm sorry. G. Financial report.
We have our balance sheet and everything published in the packet. Normally we have a page with the starting balances and ending balances of the accounts. I don't see that this time. But everything else is there for everybody's perusal. There's copies here if anyone hasn't got it. I don't have anything special to report.
Did everyone have a financial report with you?
No.
And what we can do is, when we go to K, you can click through it, but when we go down to the agenda in K, where the residents, if they have any comment or question, they can ask the comment or question. I give you some time to look it over. And okay, I did have time to review that with you. You did too?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? I would like to make a motion to approve the financial report at this time. Been properly seconded. I think all of those in favor say aye. Okay, we're going to more business. Request for proposal for engineer for major road project in Marbella Park. What I will do at this point is update you. In the last meeting, we decided to go ahead and find an engineer to represent Marbella Park in reference to doing an overlay in the complete community. Overlay, for those of you that don't know, in go sometime at I-75, I-95, 595, maybe they scrape some of the asphalt off the top of the street, and then they put down about an inch and a half right over that, and fix it very nicely. It looked like brand new. This year, that's a major project. We hope to complete that before the end of the year.
What companies are you considering? Are there several that you bid or?
Right now, we're in the process of choosing an engineer to represent Marbella Park.
Okay.
Once we choose the engineer, we request that engineer to make all the specifications in the community that have to do with the street. That, with that specification, we can present it to 5, 10 construction companies. They would get the same specification. Then they would return that in a sealed bid to us. And we can open the bid and see who, check happens to happen, and see who will give us the best price. Once that is done, the process will be then deciding what company we're going with, and after that, then it goes into the attorney hands for him to draft with them the contract that will protect Marbella Park. So
And
that,
how are you choosing the engineer is what I'm saying? The engineer who's gonna, the actual engineer who's gonna coordinate is what you're saying?
I've asked Calidad to call Hialeah, both Chamber of Commerce and Miami Chamber of Commerce, and request 3 to 5 and recommendation from them companies, engineering companies that know to do this kind of are involved or know this kind of work. So I hope at least to have at least somewhere between 8 to 10 different engineers that can represent it. There was some that was brought to us, and it was roughly between $9,000 to $13,000. We want to be very careful when we decide to go with engineering, because with the project from the lake, we kind of run into some problems with that engineer company, so we're not using them at all. So we wanted to try to see if we can focus on who we choose, but also we can make the agreement or contract with the engineering company very tight. And if something happens, we can also sue them easily. So right now, I would say that by the next meeting, we should have chosen the engineer company.
Yes, I have a question about that. Refacing the entire complex, I mean, because there are two associations.
No, only, we only speak for Marbella Park.
No, I understand, but it's still, you know, so you're gonna have one side that is not gonna be completed and our side is gonna be completed, that's fine. Now, I mean, that's a large project to do the whole thing. So my question is, how much money extra is gonna cost us on our association fee?
No. Because we already spoke with a construction company, and he gave us an average of probably 200,000 to 300,000 for overlay.
Okay,
So
so gonna,
we can think it might run 400,000 because we are looking at the drainage, because he's only talking about overlay. But we know, we live here, we know there's areas that need, that the drainage might need some type of adjustment. We know there's areas that have some sinking, you know. So right now, you look at this, they can look at it, but once they start doing what they have to do and being able to put together specifications, they're going to think that just the engineer can find, you know. And so right now, that was the kind of information. Now, also, we asked them how long that might take. And this company say that should take roughly about 2 months.
I think it went in 4. Depending on the weather.
But we said 4 depending on the weather. Because that's 2 months dry,
Working every day.
working every day. We said 4 months because, so I guess we are thinking that by the end of June, we have a signed contract, then we have a balance of 4 months, probably 6 months to go to get this done. But as you know, there is a time frame, and after that time frame, there will be penalty. Just like what we have with this one, there's a $200 penalty for a day after they give over the time that they said to complete the job. So we put a penalty. Now, if y'all know any engineering company that does that one, y'all would like to refer to us, or carry that to call them and have them come out and give us a proposal, that's fine. Any over here that know.
I don't have an engineering company, but I know that my son is an engineer. He's not volunteering for anything, but I know that when he's seen Marbella, he's always criticized the way it is because that is his business. So maybe he might, not that he's volunteering or anything else, or even getting his company, but he might just kind of like give you guidance of what you should be looking for or asking. That's why I asked about the engineering company, because, I mean, he's always, and he did Brickell, so, but he basically could say to you, you know, you should ask for this and this and this, or make sure that the company's doing that or that or that. It's just, so if you, I'll send him over to see you if he goes around,
We
just
can
for
get an email,
guidance.
maybe we can just send him the bids we have, and if anything jumps out at him that he sees that we need to look out for, or some questions.
Yeah,
we
that's
have.
it, nothing else. He's, you know,
Appreciate that.
he does stuff.
But the short answer to your question is we have no intention of increasing the assessment. There shouldn't be any need for a special assessment. There's no plan. If we thought we couldn't do it where we're at now, we wouldn't be doing it right now. We'd wait.
No, if you look at the financial, I think we have about over $300,000. So we think we have between now and the end of the year, we will get the balance to take care of that. Now we also, I think, have about over $250,000 in collection that we have to collect also in the process. So that's why we're looking at being able to do that, address that project this year. Any more questions?
About, just general questions.
No, the project.
Okay.
No? Okay. New business. That's it. Wait a minute. And the new business we get introduced here, the owners of the new security company. That is Negron. Luis Negron.
Luis Negron and Kirk Sims.
Sims.
We were Superior Site Services, short as SOS Security. We've been here for roughly about 3 weeks now. The transition has gone a little smoother than expected. There's still some things that we have to address and correct. We have a new system at the gatehouse. A lot of the old system wasn't being maintained properly, so we basically have all the addresses and the owners, and eventually through our system, we're gonna facilitate, but with the approval of the board and the manager, we're gonna work as a team to provide you guys access to add and take away the names of the visitors that you want. So you're gonna be able to maintain your own visitors and the list of people coming into your own residences, okay? So eventually we're gonna discuss all that, that's in the making, and we're happy to be here. My friend used to live here. I used to live in Esplanada about 15 years ago. I moved to Miami Springs, but I miss this area, and it's a great area. And I know about the flooding that you're talking about, and hopefully all that gets corrected. But we're happy to be here. Any questions? We work diligently with the board and the managers, and the manager the property manager. So moving forward, if you have anything, go through them. We'll address it, and we'll try to reach out to everybody and make sure you guys are getting the service you deserve at Marbella, okay? At least from the security side, that's what we're in charge of. Any questions for us? Yes, sir.
Yes. Are you aware of the challenges that we had with the previous company?
I am aware of most of the challenges that we had, that you guys experienced with the old company.
Okay.
We have been addressing some of those, and there's tonight. If I also say so, Caridad, we'll be meeting with Caridad and trying to make sure that moving forward, we address every issue. The biggest issue of any complex is the fact that the updating of the information in the computer. That could expedite or that could make it really tedious for people to come in. So by all means, we want to make sure that the east residents coming through the east and the west come through the west. So we're going to be trying to differentiate all that and make sure that everybody here is properly checked and your visitors are checked and everything is going to go according to the policies that they have established. So we do know some of the issues that were ongoing, and we're going to move forward towards repairing those issues to make sure that everything flows smoothly for your visitors when they come to visit, and you as a resident, that we can process you quicker, okay? Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. The east come to the east and west come to the west, so people, in other words, I live in the east side, I won't be able to come to the west?
No,
Okay,
I
I'm sorry.
didn't say that at all.
misunderstood.
I'm just trying to, like the contractors, that was the
Okay.
issue about the contractors coming in through our gate to go to the
Okay.
west side.
Okay.
So we're trying to make sure they go through the gate they're supposed to be going in, and not, the repairs and everything that's happening on this side will remain on this side. So that's, it's a little, I'm sorry I didn't explain it correctly. Yes, sir.
Yes. I just wanted to follow up on what I asked. I think the number one concern that we had with the previous company was the fact that, we found ourselves, people knocking on our doors, them letting people through without checking or calling or doing whatever it is that they need to do to get permission.
I'm
So-
sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so if you can just give us just a little feedback as to how are you guys going to address those concerns?
We have some issues because we have two entities allowing entry to the same place through two different gates. So usually if I deny entry to a visitor that's not on your list and you didn't answer your phone and he goes to the west gate and the west gate just waves at them and comes in, it's very difficult. We're trying to address those issues with the board, and eventually we'll get to an amicable position that I'll be able to answer that in a more assertive way. Right now, we're working through the nicks and crannies, trying to get the system up and running for all you guys to be able to join in and allow us and facilitate us information so we can serve you better. And hopefully, in the near future, the west side will join the east side, and we all speculated, but hopefully everything could go and become a little bit more unified in order to avoid me being rejected at the east gate, but deciding to go to the west gate, maybe say, hey, how you doing, hey, everything good? And then walk in and drive in. And those are the concerns that are very, there's a couple different things in plan. I'm not at liberty of discussing what the board and the managers are trying to devise to separate or do what they have to do in order to avoid those circumstances. But right now, we're gonna try to, and if nobody's authorized and we make a phone call and you're not answering, then I come in through our gate. So we're gonna attempt to do our best to make sure that they don't come in through our side. Okay, so eventually, you're gonna see the changes, and I think you'll be happy with it.
Great. The last thing, that notepad that you passed to the front, we're trying to collect emails, so can you please pass it back so people can just... No, the big one. I'm sorry.
Yes, in the back.
There you go.
Emails,
Thank you.
How do you plan to collect the contact information? Because the web
The system, we use the safe passage. Safe passage is actually, eventually, we're gonna go with the management company on the board. We're gonna try to collect as many emails as possible, and they're gonna grant you access once you prove and we can verify that you're the owner. You'll be able to actually ascertain, log into the computer and put in your own visitors, and if your name, phone number changes, you'll be able to update it too.
Yes, every single resident would have their own login, their own personal login, so that we could be able to get into the site and make the adjustment, so that way you could actually work hand in hand with us and all the guards at the gate, so that way there's no more discrepancy. And so far, if there's any inconvenience, we're very sorry about that.
Is it going to be in the website that people just can go into the website and click?
The board and the management company and us, we're gonna all work diligently to make sure that we provide all the information. You will have some notification prior to us commencing and what we're gonna require from you to be able to allow you to do these things. And I think it's gonna be for the betterment of the community because it will allow the management company and everybody else to be able to focus on the big and greater things, and you'll be able to maintain your own visitor list and your own phone numbers.
You will have access to the work.
Yeah, so you would have newsletter and so forth introducing ourselves, what our business is all about, and how long we've been around and what we're doing in our company. Because we do have our own training facility where all the officers are well trained and licensed properly, so that way they can accommodate any site that they're working at. All right.
Question, is there any plans in the future to update the system? I mean, the sticker on the windshields, I'm sorry, I mean, it isn't really, I mean, in the afternoon, it's not the security guard's fault. They have 5, 6 cars lined up, a U-Haul truck lined up in the back, and cars start piling in through the residence side. If they're on the phone, they're checking, they're talking to someone, they're coming back and forth, they have 3 cars lined up, they can't.
There's three different stickers currently going on, and I know that we are working again diligently with we're going to be working with Caridad now, and we're working with Jose before, and we're going to be devising, hopefully, we could come to a conclusion as to which sticker we should be, or can come up with a new system. I'm not sure because everything depends on the cost and what it all entails. So as a community, I know that the board and the management company and ourselves want to minimize the cost to you guys and not have to pass anything on at all.
Right.
But there's 3 different stickers that we have to comply with, and we can't say no to them. So
Right,
it's-
I understand.
Right.
But the stickers all together, I mean, I can put a red and white sticker on my windshield, drive fast enough, and they're gonna open the gate for me.
Yeah, but we do
Anyone
make
can do
sure all the officers pay close attention to the stickers before they actually open the gate. So far,
Right.
since we've been assigned,
Right, but what I'm saying is,
even if there's a pile up, we gotta make sure that we wait.
Yeah, but the issue is, okay, there was some frustration from the previous company. Slowly but surely, through this transition period, we're gonna negotiate, cruise through all these obstacles and make sure that everybody in the east side is gonna be complying the way we're supposed to. And that's why eventually I'm hoping that and we have discussed a couple of things, and I'm going a lot longer than I should, and I apologize, but we are working diligently together to make sure that those stickers, we're gonna be able to either have one, change it completely, I'm not sure yet, but it's all in the works, and we have to do what's best for the community. And beforehand, you all know, because everybody's gonna have to come and re-register the cars or bring the old sticker to get a new sticker. It's an event that we have to go through. Maybe it's gonna take a week or 2 to change all the old stickers to new stickers.
Right.
So it's a process. But believe me, right now with just the small changes that we have accommodated, just with the system that we're going to be able to allow you access to update your own information, it's just going to expedite it, and it's going to make everybody accountable for who the visitor is.
How about,
Just-
how about the remote controls?
Just for y'all to know. The plan is, which we've been trying to get an understanding with the west side. Right now, we're having some problems with the west side president. That's trying to reach to an agreement. The idea is to have a setup just like Macon Greens. Macon Greens have 2 entrances. There's one down by the Solanos, that's only for residents. And then there's this one that is 24 hours, the one that you pass over there. We would like to have the one by the Solanos over here. We would like to have 24 hours over there. But we need to reach some understanding with the West, and right now, things are at a little murky. Once we reach to that agreement, we plan to go with barcodes on the car. Okay? And that's the plan right now, but we need to reach to an understanding with the West in order then to focus on the gate. We really don't, not gonna change no sticker, not anything, we're buying the same sticker, but we can't go into more expense because we really want to change the system. That system that we have up here is original. I think we have over 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's original. The reason it's working still good is because we was able to find a mechanic that placed it there. So we keep him on call. But if it wasn't for him, before we found him, we had some guys that came and they used to fix it today, tomorrow it was broken. So it was a problem when we find this guy again. And so we're keeping it working. And we're gonna try to keep it working until that time when it comes that we will be able to do the setup. But that's hopefully if we can work that before the end of the year, then we can start giving everyone an idea what we will be doing with the kids. Again, we are focused, this board is focused on not creating no assessment. We do not want to create no assessment, no one, we're not planning to, or we're not thinking to create assessment. So, definitely you need to keep that in mind.
Let me ask you one question. I had those little remote controls. Every time when the new manager came or somebody did, it was the cards first, and we had to pay every time, the cards, then the remote control, and every time I get that. So these little remote controls, are they gonna still be, I mean, it works on the both sides. I use it on the east side and the west side. It works without any problem. We all have it, so
We're not
it's still gonna
changing
stay.
anything right
It's
now.
not
It's
gonna
working,
change.
it
Yes,
should keep working.
a long time.
Oh, yeah.
We're not changing anything, and whenever we come with the bar code,
I can still keep that.
But at that time, it might be different. That would be a whole other, that would be a whole
but
other system.
there's no cost for that.
Okay.
There will be no cost.
You can keep it, you can press it, it makes you feel good.
Supposedly you used to open the pool too. The pool gate.
There was a scanner at one time or something.
Yeah.
Going back to that question, I contacted the West president, and we went over the numbers going on what Ernesto said. By the way, we're talking about things, do you still need to be here, you okay?
No, we're fine. I mean, if you have any other questions, by all means, we're here. We can always be here.
Appreciate it.
We're gonna come by and see the manager and with Ernesto and everybody else. And we're here to make it better and easier. And I'm hoping that at the end of the day, if you guys update your own information, it's just gonna make it so much quicker. Okay, and you're gonna have control of your own information. So if you don't want your wife to come tomorrow, you can say take off. I'm just kidding. It's my anniversary today. It's my anniversary today, right? So if you don't need it any longer, then we'll talk tomorrow on the next meeting.
I think you should stay. You should stay because we will need you to really discuss. Because from this analysis that's going on here, it seems to put the cart before the horse. We didn't take care coming to an agreement with the other side before getting a new security firm. Because my understanding now, it seems no matter how good they are, if that other side doesn't comply, these guys will look inefficient. And I'm sensing that maybe that's the probability, maybe there's a chance. That's why we think the other security firm wasn't performing up to par because of the guys on the other side. Shouldn't have formed an agreement, because what's the point of handling, if these guys are really efficient as they say they are, and you can't come into an agreement with the guys on the other side, what happens?
But I was gonna, let me answer that one, please. I was gonna finish that question, I just didn't want them sticking around, but if you feel you really need to talk to them, you're welcome to send them an email, they have their cards here. He did say it was his anniversary, I don't think it's that important, and I'm gonna answer your question and his at the same time, hopefully. But you're welcome to ask all you want, he's not leaving anywhere, we just hired him, so. But let me answer that, I think we've been communicating with this man. We did a cost analysis of doing what Ernesto just said, using our side just for residents and the other side for entrance, and there's a cost savings for them, $30,000 I believe, off the top of my head. What I wanted to do is, during this week, is propose it and see if we can put it in our newsletter. And then eventually, if we have to, we'll mail it to them. I can't understand if I would live on that side and there was that kind of cost savings, why I wouldn't be screaming at them. Say, it makes sense for them and it makes sense for us. It makes sense that we're locking our back door. You're right. But you know what? We can't go to him and put a gun to his head and say, you got to go with our security guard, or you got to keep your gates closed. He can do whatever he wants. They have their own association.
No, I'm sorry, he can't do whatever he wants.
No, well, to a point, you're right. Let me correct that.
He's gotta comply with us also. This is our safety,
And the
You're right,
community
I stand
safety-
corrected, he cannot do what he said, that was a
Right.
statement.
Okay.
What he's talking about, you place it with the previous security company.
No, I think that, and that's true, he has a good point. Let me, I'm just going back so that you both understand, we are trying to negotiate with that. We see it's a problem having our door open. We can't force them. To a certain point, they have their bylaws. We've talked to them about becoming one. It's not so easy. But in answer to your question, the security guard, it wasn't the only problem of them letting people in. We knew that that wasn't the problem. If that wasn't the biggest thing, it's making reports. If there's an accident or somebody breaks the gate, they had to file a report by a certain amount of time. They weren't doing that. So there's a bunch of things that you could see that they weren't complying with. They weren't meeting up to their expectations. We decided to go with a different company to try them out.
All right, thank you for your time.
Did I answer all your questions? I'm sorry.
Yeah, when they leave, we will continue as families and discuss our issues.
Yes, yes. Yes.
I appreciate it, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My wife is gonna thank you too.
What's your name, by the way?
Good.
I'm Louis.
Lewis, and?
Louis Nato and Kirk Sims. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Any questions, please send it to Caridad. They'll definitely contact us or Ernesto or anybody in the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, now we will go to general question, which is K. And we can start from over here and move over here and answer any questions that you may have. You don't have none?
About violations, is that?
Any questions?
No, but about the violations, are we supposed to meet on May or?
You would be, if you can get that letter to attend to a hearing, it will be mailed to you.
Okay, it will be,
Anyone will, it will be mailed,
it
yes.
will be mailed, so it haven't been mailed. Because
Not
we're
that-
here,
No.
there was a group of us and,
Right, but my understanding, and Caridad, if you want to address that, just that point.
Right, we sent out notices to everyone that had originally been scheduled for this month. We had sent rescheduling notices on that a week before the actual date was rescheduled for, and it was for May. So if you didn't receive the notice, let me know, because I do have it on file and I can send it to you so that you can have the new notice that was mailed out.
oh, okay, I mean, I just need the date, it's gonna be May
I believe it's May 15th.
15, okay.
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
Okay, May 15 at 7 p.m. again?
Yes.
All right, perfect, that's all I need.
Kara residents, we have a proposal before the architectural board for a modification to
Okay,
the window.
that's that.
Oh, that was-
Question, none? Question?
Yeah, I have a question. I received a notice from a ferry about me owing $6,000 of association fees. I spoke to Mr. Mijares around 3 or 4 times.
Before we continue, this is about a bill. We can talk about after the meeting.
Oh, but
After the meeting, that's a bill, we're not going to discuss the values.
I think we should discuss it because some people too might have that similar problem.
We're not going to discuss it. We discuss it right after the meeting.
not a problem. Not sure with me.
Is it okay for? Okay.
Question? Question?
No, I'm out of here. I mean, it's May 15th, right? The meeting for violations.
Yes.
Okay, that's really the only reason I'm here, so I'll
I
see
know
you
your
guys.
issues after.
And the meeting for May 15th, real quick, is here, in this room? Okay, all right, appreciate it, thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Do you provide us your email so we can keep you up on updates? You, sir.
Oh, sure, it's,
Could you please?
you can, I mean,
Yes.
Okay.
Your floor.
I was going to ask, how many years contract did we sign with the new security firm?
How many more?
How many
Years.
years? How many years contract? Did we
One,
sign with them?
but it can cancel at any time. If they're not doing it, they're not performing.
Oh,
That will be up on the site.
thank you.
Any other questions?
yeah, another thing I observed, listen, you're a new property manager, right?
Right,
Do you work for Mavella part of Affinity?
I work for Affinity.
You work for Affinity. All right. I'm just curious, if we pay Affinity as an association, as a body that handles our association, how come we're paying somebody, how come the property manager, who is under the payroll, I want to believe for Affinity, is still under our payroll of Marbella Park?
I didn't understand that question.
All right, the last guy who was here says he works for us, right? Because I went through the budget, I saw administrative assistants, and it says that money. So I'm wondering, I mean, if we're paying Affinity to manage our property, how come we're paying somebody from that organization and it's coming out from Marbella Park as an administrative assistant? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like double payment. You pay a body to handle your community.
I understand the affinity, but the other part is what I'm.
Yeah, that's.
I think I understand what he's saying. I believe that Jose, he's still on your payroll, correct?
Okay.
Right,
Jose?
I guess
So,
I'll clear.
That's where he's going, that Jose is still on your pay, and he's,
Yes.
but, so you can explain that.
I think what he's saying is that we have affinity management and we have assistants of affinity management. And that's when we went to the on-site manager. I think that's what we need. You need you to clear, you want to verify?
Sure, no problem. Basically, the structure, the way it works is we're the management company, we work for you, ultimately. That's under our payroll, which we work for you. What changed was that instead of having what's called a roving manager, you currently have an on-site manager that's addressing all your concerns for your association. So this person is dedicated to Marbella Park HOA only, no other property. Before, the option that you had was the individual that was in charge of multiple properties. Because of the project, because of a lot of things that are going on, the violations, the board and us working together to get the property up to par, we've decided to provide a combination with the board where we can put someone on site at a very affordable rate. So that's why you're seeing that individual there. So essentially, you're still paying us. I can give you some more comparison. It's the same thing as if you went from having 2 security guards in the front to 1 security guard. There's just a change in what the charge is on your GO. Everything is always going to be outlined in your financial statements for whatever option the board decides to go with.
No, it shouldn't be that way. If we're paying an organization to manage our property, just because we have somebody on site from that organization doesn't mean we have to be paying that person.
That's how it's structured.
It shouldn't be that way, because that's double payment. Is that you put all that money under the management, or the management fee that we pay to you guys, and let it end there. We can't have somebody paying your organization, and because we have somebody on site, and we have to start paying extra money, which is called administrative fee. We have lived for years in this community without having somebody on site, and we're still able to do all that function. All I'm looking at that is just about cutting out waste. That's just what I'm looking at, because if I have a business as this community and I need to manage all the limited resources that I have, I don't think I would go into doing that. Okay, I've paid somebody for one services to take care of a particular service for me, because that's what we're paying you for, right? And because I'm paying for that service, and somebody is now from your company on site of my ground, and I have to now pay that person. That doesn't sound right. I don't think it makes a good business sense, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I respectfully disagree. It's just a different option that there is at the moment. It's not the same option that you had before. So essentially, there is an increase.
But now
it's a totally different option.
But the problem is there's a new budget now called administrative assistance that we're paying for.
Understood.
So why is that not under a management fee? Why is it different?
That's administrative is the individual that's on site, sir. You have an individual now that's on site.
I'm going to try to take a jab at it. Before Caridad came here, you would have a complaint, you had nobody to see, you could complain to Affinity on the phone, and when the property manager would come around, you would get to talk to him. We were paying a certain amount for that. We decided to take and have somebody on site. So to have her here, that's a little bit more. It's not just one guy who's divided between 4 properties or 5. How much attention do you get for him versus a person on here? If anybody has a complaint, we can come and knock on the door and give it to her. I think it seems to be working. Plus, we were knocking out the walkway, we needed somebody here. That's why we're paying more. And if someday we say we need 2 because we need somebody to roam, whatever, who knows? It may be a little bit more, but I think we're getting more bang for the dollar. Everybody seems to be happy.
Everybody's not happy.
Can I say this? Okay, maybe that's, again, you can't always please everybody, but I think we can all agree that the community has improved. We've all sacrificed, we've all cleaned our roof, and that, but go ahead.
I'm not disputing that fact, like I said, I've commended you guys
Yes.
for the work you've done. And I've said it's excellent, but I'm just saying, like, if we have to move further, we have to look at, if I see something, and I say, look, what I'm looking at now is the bottom line, is the number that I'm looking at. And I'm saying, why do we have you guys as board members? Yes, I agree that we all volunteer, we can all volunteer. Even among us, those people, this role can be a voluntary position in this community. Because you have somebody who lives among us, you can set that rule and say, okay, man, this is the guideline for you to look at. We've survived in this community without administrative assistance for how many years? And now we're doing it now. I'm just saying that it just doesn't, it's not right. To put somebody under the, that's why I asked, is she working for Affinity?
Can I say
Is she
something?
working for
You have a right. Yes, sir.
Peter Gallagher, I just don't want to survive, okay? I'd like the community to move forward.
We could survive
If
without
I can make it
landscaping
138
services if we're just
and
looking
have
at the
somebody
bottom
on
line.
site, I have no problem with
We
it.
don't need landscaping services, we don't need to clean out the drains once a year, we don't need to trim the trees. We could survive and save the money, we could cut out our assessment completely, but that's not how we're running the board. If
So
you want to
everybody
sit
has
on the
different
board, maybe
opinions,
you want to change things up a little bit, then at that time.
It's not, maybe it's not become semantics now because I use the word survive. All I'm saying is that we have tried, maybe that's what I should use, we have tried without having to pay extra money for a property manager.
Okay, I understand your point,
Mm-hmm.
clearly. I understand your point, and one of the things that I have to say, we just can agree to disagree. And that's your opinion, no problem. Your point is taken, and it's noted.
And I just point out, we're paying less now in a monthly assessment than we were 10 years ago.
We're paying
Paying
Less
less
now.
now than we were 10 years ago.
Yes, sir.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
10 years ago, you were paying 120.
So why did that, do we know the history of why that came about?
Yes.
You want us to go back to the history
No,
of
It
why
would take a long time for us to.
I can tell you the history, I'll tell you every step of it. What do you want to know?
Oh, we're paying
No.
less, but we don't have
Okay.
cable, so.
We don't have
But,
to.
but, just a minute. Okay, so we can settle that because that's your opinion. Do you have another question?
Yeah, I have another issue back to the issue of waste. I brought this here as evidence to the community. This was the last meeting and these are papers. Because I looked at the bill and I said I had a meeting with the last property manager and I was saying, we can cut back on the amount of money we save on stationaries. We'll put some amount of money there and what this paper you're saying is our money and it's a total waste. So I told him, which of course he has agreed. Unfortunately, he's not here because I'm going to ask him what further changes, what improvement does he make in how we can cut money on our stationaries because I feel we're spending money on too much papers. But especially when we now have an internet, we have a website that should reduce the number of trees that we waste as a result of the website that we have. If you get my point.
Okay, but what you have there is something that they're required to have. Okay, and based on what you're saying, these copies that we offer the resident, we shouldn't have the copies.
That's not, you see, that's
Okay,
not,
wait.
You know,
Hold up.
yeah, I can't let you continue because you don't understand where I'm coming from.
You're talking about the ways of when we waste things. And I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
And I don't think no one on the board have issues with some of the things you're saying.
Okay.
And we respect your opinion. Okay? One of the things you mentioned was that volunteer work in the community should be done by the resident. That's true. You know what's the problem?
Nobody wants.
No one wants volunteer. And last year it came up by one of the board members, and I told them, and I agree with them, and I asked them to find 5 people at the following meeting to volunteer. They will find the board. It's not that always ask the newsletter, I always ask for volunteers.
You're the gentleman? Oh, good.
But the newsletter, I always ask for volunteers. And volunteers, if they're not coming forward, then we have to pay for it. So, what you need to do is come up with some ideas.
Okay, what if I volunteer to be the property manager?
You can volunteer to do anything property manager tell you to do. Because we need someone that is responsible, that can follow through.
You have to be licensed.
And all, yes, and so if you want to volunteer to do something, we discuss it after the meeting, and that's fine. Okay. Yes, but every volunteer has a supervisor.
We're not going to entertain a volunteer manager, even if they are licensed, even if they have experience, because if, as a volunteer, I'm sitting up here as a volunteer, and if too much is put on me, and it starts affecting my family, or too much is demanded on me, I can walk away. And that's what volunteers have the right to do. We pay somebody that's skilled, trained, licensed, and that we will hold accountable for what we pay them to do. We can't hold a volunteer accountable in the same way.
That's what I'm saying.
And there's a lot of responsibility.
I'm glad you brought the issue of payment. That's what you should have done with your property, whoever the property manager is, which is Affinity, and say, look, we're paying for these services. Whatever how you do it, make sure you have somebody here. So us paying property management company and somebody else coming here, it's just
To me, it seems like you have a direct issue with us, and I'd be
I don't have a direct. No. You're misconstruing what I'm saying. I don't have any qualms with you guys.
You have some recommendations. You need to put it in writing.
I have put it in writing. I wrote a mail. I copied all of you, and I didn't get any response. If you want me to make a copy of that email to the next meeting, I'll bring it to you guys.
You put the recommendation together, okay? And then we will follow with that. We definitely carry that, follow that. Okay? And we will follow that before the next meeting.
So why didn't you guys follow up when I wrote earlier, when I copied everybody? Why wasn't it followed up?
When you direct something to us, the responsibility lies on the manager.
It was a different subject, I believe, so. Wasn't it about landscaping and the maintenance, why we're spending that much every month? We were looking at the total figure, and I think there was that's what the problem was. Wasn't that last email you sent us about the landscaping?
To my knowledge, every item, the items that were brought up were responded. The
Was
other
that
item
you?
was the issue of not enough notice for a meeting. I
So
know
that was the only one that was responded to. The only time I finally got a response was when I finally had a meeting one-on-one with the property manager.
Okay, did you respond to that?
You know, it was just based on the fact that sending an email. So let's move on.
Okay, good. Okay, at this time, I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Been properly second, Vincent. All of those in favor? Aye. Now, meeting is adjourned, and we can speak with, architect and then with you. Okay?
Not a problem.
And voluntary, you're going to volunteer. Do you know for what you want to volunteer? We have the communication. We have the secretary. Wait, you are, I'm sorry, you are Mr.
Victor Sullivan.
He wants to join.
Welcome
aboard.
Ernesto.
You have two emails, Victor and Roy.
Roy, you want to join too?
Yes.
If it's available,
Yeah.
that's a help, and if not, I'll still help.
Good.
This is because Roberto Morales and because it's, okay. Could you just briefly say something about yourself, and then you go ahead and say something about yourself? And then what we can do, we can go ahead and discuss it among directors, and then we can come up with, thank you.
Nice.
We can come up with
Thank you.
a decision, and then we can ratify it in the following meeting. Or we can come up with a decision. Okay? You want to take the first?
Name's Roy Machine. Me and my wife Vanessa moved here in July of last year. It'll be a year in July. Happy to be here. Love the community. We want to make it better. Want to see it grow. In the last 3 or 4 months, we've seen great improvements. Everything, landscaping, security. I mean, the potholes got fixed. It's been great. And we want to see that keep in the same direction, keep moving forward. We see the communities around us. We see the good, the bad, and the ugly. I speak for both of us. We see
I moved here from Lakes on the Green, since we're comparing earlier. Yes, I lived with my parents in Lakes on the Green. And we moved in July, and I could definitely say from July to January, I was like, oh, but I think I started to see the change in the neighborhood in January, and for the good.
It's been great.
And I must say, since we had the property manager.
Well, this is nice little because we on the spot.
And we want to see it continue to grow. The remodeling of the house, painting, everything is coming to an end, so we have more time now. I have more time, and I like to help. Even if I can't have a position on the board, I still love to help and volunteer my time whenever it's available, whenever somebody's coming up. I'm here.
Good. Thank you. Victor?
My name is Victor Sepulveda. My wife and I and our children moved in about 2 months ago. I think I communicated that to one of you guys earlier. Thank you. Currently, I'm a director of information technology, senior director that is. I have a massive team of IT professionals that I manage for a healthcare provider. I've been in information technology now for 20 years. Traveled the world, started businesses, sold businesses, worked for companies, worked for different sectors, communications, food and beverages industry, hotels, you name it. When I saw the communication, I saw an opportunity where I think my experience can add some value to the board and perhaps some insight. This is a business, and therefore you need people that are business-oriented and driven. And again, technology is a factor that perhaps may exist or may not. And I'm more than open to offer my expertise as a volunteer and also the community get better. I hope for having
One of the things I can say to both of you is that this board is 5 directors. However, we can always expand it to 7 for 1 year, at least for the previous, the rest of the balance of the previous year. So, we can discuss that, and then we can make a decision, but we can have to find someone else. We can have to be an even number. That can't happen, but we rather
Newsletter.
try to.
I'll take over the newsletter. You can try to report the news, I will do the newsletter.
Okay, but we will definitely get back with both of you, I'll let you know. Okay? Because I know not last year, it was year last, right?
Last year.
Was it last year we expanded the board from 5 to 7? So we had more director, so whoever's looking for that, so that I don't foresee any problem with that. Okay, we just might have to find someone else, yes, to make it 7. Okay, but I want to thank you both for your front and the information that came up to the communication committee. And I want to thank the communication committee also. Okay, well, at this time, we're adjourned, and we will speak with you, then you in the back there, and then
We should give you money for this.
okay. Thank you all for coming out.
All right. Mr. Roy.